Oh, great. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of From This Point Forward, a Buffalo Sabres comedy podcast. We're back. I think we're collected, possibly. I think we're even keeled. We're gonna go in with this episode talking about only good things. I'm sure no negativity is still holding over from last season. We're ready to talk about what the offseason brings. We have a sponsor now. We got big moves. Big moves are happening. Can't wait to talk about it. Let's go.
Let's acknowledge the fact that in one of your favorite movies of all time, you thought the slogan was "Ducks quack forever" instead of "Ducks fly together."
No,
It's
you also
bad.
think they live in wells. It's the whole theme of the movie, Lou. But he had the duck call.
They go quack.
It would be Malcolm Subban, mostly because that one season where instead of letting him play for the Sabres for the last game of the year, they had him sing the national anthem. And it was a real, like, you're under contract, the season is over. We know you've only gotten to be up here a couple of times. How about you come back up here? Oh, great, I'll put my pads in the car. No. You won't need them. Just make sure you warm up the pipes when you're driving down the 90.
Mitch Marner.
You heard it, Mitch. If you want to sign here, you can drill Ryan's mom.
It's crazy that the line about drilling Ryan's mom is not what I get awkward about every time I listen to that back. It's the laugh at the end that I am so uncomfortable about each and every time. Like, man, I should have cut that better. Hey, how are you guys? Chris, Ryan, everything going good?
Yeah. Who won the Stanley Cup? Does anyone know?
I know. I have to think
do.
about this. Yeah, I was gonna say I have to think about this. Yes, I do remember. I know, Ryan, you didn't watch any hockey after the Sabres were done. Chris and I were still drilling the chat with hockey talk, and you were on to soccer.
Yeah, I was on to anything other than hockey. I mean, I really didn't watch any of the basketball. Really haven't been watching much TV at all, really, if I think about it.
It's because
other than Maternal Instinct on Netflix. Did watch that. That was riveting.
dude,
it was great.
That was wild. Can we just let's just make this a Maternal Instinct podcast?
Oh, yeah, it was nuts.
Dude, it was one of those documentaries that, like, every 10 minutes you go, what? You know, like, just how is it getting crazier?
Yeah, it's very disturbing.
It is, you know, obviously it was like Alabama or something. So it is like, you know, once you realize that it was down
Texas.
south, you're like, I get it. Yeah, Texas, but she was from Alabama. I don't know, whatever. Insane story. Chris, did you see it? You want any thoughts on Maternal Instinct?
No, I didn't. I don't have Netflix currently because I didn't know we had a sponsor now and that we'd be getting sponsor money in that I can afford Netflix again. No, I watched all of the sport. Okay. And I forgot that I made a wild claim before the conference finals of the NBA even started, when we were thinking that Ryan was going to become a big Wemby fan in the finals, and he was there, and he almost did it. Okay, that happened here. That didn't happen anywhere else. That happened on From This Point Forward, the world's premier San Antonio Spurs podcast.
We're gonna. It would be funny if we just had 3 San Antonio Spurs guys just in the chat, like the Canadians fans. Just you're wearing a Spurs jersey next week. We just
We're commiserating with them about how much of a piece of shit everyone is from New York. We're just like, yeah, fuck them. They're terrible.
100%. I don't know where to start here. I guess I will start. Let's start with our new sponsor, Valid Dad here. We have you see the hat. I am a valid dad, Ryan. Valid dad for two. Chris, you got some cats. You and I don't have. You and I don't have dads. Our dads are gone and dead, but they would have liked these probably. We're working with them. We got a promo code for you guys. You can use the link here that's on the bottom, but also you can go to validad.com and use Not Your Uncle promo code to get another 10% off. Validad is a brand created to empower fathers and reflect the values of strength, commitment, and authenticity. They exist to highlight the importance of active fatherhood and celebrate the men who show up for their families day in and day out. Through their designs, they honor real fatherhood and inspire the next generation to lead with purpose, strength, and pride. Stay valid. So if you did fuck up and did not get your father a Father's Day's gift, you still have time, and we're helping you out with 10% off. When I did this promo on our other podcast on Wednesday, it was Allie who did remind me after, you could mention that Father's Day is in 3 days, Lou, and I forgot. So now I'm mentioning that it was yesterday. I know some of us fucked up, and I know some of us, like me and Chris, did not have gifts to give or buy. So there it is. Go get your 10% off now. I love the hat. Look at it. Like a little embroidery. It's my favorite hat, and it makes me feel cool. It makes me feel cool to go out and have other people think I'm important to somebody in the world. And that's all I can go for. Well, let's start with Sabres offseason shit. I don't want to talk. There's no reason to talk about anything that's happened since, like Ryan says. We have a lot going on here with our team alone. Let's start with the thing we've been talking about for close to a year now. And in Alex Tuck, I don't see a situation. I know today, actually, Ryan, you mentioned it in the group chat that, Drager reports that they circled back in. I think that's just all bullshit. I think that that's a little bit more maybe agent stuff or just trying to strum up anything. But or maybe it could be agent realizing that there might not be much of a market outside of Seattle and, seeing like, hey, what would they come up with? The money's just not there, especially if the Benson deal gets done. So I just see that there's zero chance of it happening. But I wonder if that too might just present an opportunity here in the next few days of them coming to terms with them. Maybe circling back with them isn't so much about, hey, do you want to stay here? But so much, hey, you got a few teams that you can tell us that you'd sign and trade for, for the 8th year, and that we can start working with those teams for a trade of your rights. Thoughts on the Tuck situation? I'll start with you, Chris.
You should start with Ryan on this because I will derail the entire show.
Okay, go ahead, Ryan.
All right. I'll say this. Sorry, you're still there? Am I cutting out?
No, you're good.
Okay. On the circling back part, I don't think it's just lip service. I don't think that it's them just saying they're going to talk to the agent to see what the number is again. I think they have a firm grasp of that. They obviously worked with him throughout the season. I think they know what his number is. Now, there probably still is a sticking point. There is probably a million, between $1 million and $2 million apart, based on what the reports are. I just wonder if they're going to try to bridge that gap. Maybe there is a meet in the middle point. My thought was the way that the first part of this offseason has kind of rolled out, some of the reports on Byram and everything else just sounds to me that maybe they're going to move Byram and then, hold on to Tuck. Now, I think that would be the wrong decision. I hope they hold out. I hope they hold the line and say, we're not going to sign him for X, amount more than we're willing to pay. And maybe he eventually caves and he stays, and we'll never know. But I wonder if they're thinking about that. Now, one of the other things, just quickly before we get to Chris, is when they acquired that pick for Kesselring, to move up to 20, I thought it was curious for a number of reasons. And then we see in the Brady Kachuk deal, they include the 26th pick and the 9th pick, and they get the 26th pick by trading away a roster player to go, to basically add to the package. Now, I know the Sabres didn't have a top 10 pick, and that makes it different immediately, but I just wonder if they were somewhat in on that sweepstakes. And I know Brady might have forced his hand by giving the teams that he wanted to go to, and that's that. But I think Yarmo's cooking something. I think he's trying to do something big, and I'm really excited for July 1st. I know you texted in the group about the draft prospects, and I don't even know who they are other than Gavin McKenna, right? I mean, no idea. And the draft's in Buffalo. We would normally be loving this, but we couldn't care less because I want to get a real player. I want to get a player that's going to help us win next year. And I think we're potentially close to doing that.
Well, in true Mura fashion there, I asked him about one player, and then he talked about 7 of them.
Well, Chris said he was going to derail us. I just did it. I didn't even tell us.
We will circle back to a couple of those things. And because I disagree strongly with a lot of that, so we will kind of circle through with all that. So it will be good talking. Plumer, just on the Tuck situation, you go ahead and derail us.
This is your last chance to respond to those things, because I'm going to make you forget about all of it, baby. Okay? This is so hot in the kitchen that Ryan can't even take it. He had to fail on the podcast. Okay? I don't want Alex Tuck. I don't want Alex Tuck for a hometown discount. I don't care. I've moved on. Okay? What I'm willing to do, if this organization isn't willing to walk away from Alex Tuck, I'm willing to take Alex Tuck and a hat that I bought for 10% off at validdad.com/notyourunkle. And I'm going to burn both of those things and mix them with my dad's ashes that I am going to spread on the football field that he used to curate when he was still alive. Okay. Because I'm done with Alex Tuck. I don't give a shit about him. I don't care if he was willing to play for $2.5 million. Let's just move on. Okay. I don't care about that. What I really want to talk about is what happened in the last 2.5 months since we did this podcast. And I want to talk about a miracle that happened with this league where somehow I rooted for the Carolina Hurricanes. That's right. I'm saying it. I rooted for the Carolina Hurricanes because Vegas, not only are they unlikable, their coach is a dumb jerk off douchebag. And their arguably best player, because they were not a good team, their arguably best player is best case scenario a sex pest. And I had to root against them. That is what Gary Bettman has done to this league.
Wait a second. You're
made me root for the Carolina Hurricanes.
Oh, you're talking about heart. Okay. I was like, wait, sex pest. I was like, when did Eichel become a sex offender? I'm like,
he's not even in their top 6 good players anymore.
No,
I thought you were about to tell us that you became a Carolina. You became so moved when Eric Stahl was cranking that thing,
cranking the horn. Oh, yeah. Buddy, you better believe. Believe that I was like, when they were like, he missed his cue, he went early. I was like, no, he went exactly when he needed to because he knows the value of friendship inside of a barn during the finals.
Maybe they have the Carolina Hurricanes comedy podcast where they made fun of him for missing the cue and being drunk, and then people on what I was gonna say Tinder, what's it, TikTok, are berating them. Do you see all the? I don't know if you guys follow our TikTok, but a lot of people did not like that we called Rob Ray drunk the day that he messed up the thing, and I'm sorry that we told the truth, but there was a lot of people that were very upset with us about calling the Razor drunk. I'm not sorry. Rob, don't show up sober. I don't know what to tell you. Okay. All right. You definitely derailed us for sure a little bit. I'm going to try to reel us back in a little bit. Let's keep here for talk for a second. I just don't see that at all, Ryan. I think the Byram thing becomes a necessity because it's pretty clear that not only does his agent like to go to free agency, but he has been very clear about wanting to be the number one guy. And even though he sat here last year and said he's never he's never had as much fun playing hockey, it doesn't matter. He still wants to be the number one dude. That's important to him. And then there's just no way as an organization you can pay your third or fourth best defenseman $10 million. So you have to move on from him this offseason. This is where he's going to have the most value. You can do the sign and trade, find a team that he wants to go to long term, and so you get the right value for him behind. But I don't think that is to open up money for Tuck. I think that's going to be that big guy that we bring back in with him, with the 20th pick, with Merca, and then with name your guy. I know everyone's hoping that it's not Oslin and Hellenius, but I don't give a shit who it is. If that guy on the other side is Brian Rust. It's Brian Rust. No, I don't care who it is on the other side of that. I just don't want to hold on all this hope with Oslin and Hellenius and say, oh, no, forget Dylan Larkin, forget Robert Thomas. I think Larkin's becoming a real possibility, to be perfectly honest with, I know he threw out, and who knows if the 3-team no trade thing is true with him, but since that's been reported, it's come out, well, maybe he'll do this and maybe he'll do that. I think he just wants out of Detroit. And so I think that's a real thing. I think Tuck is as good as gone. I think he's going to get severely overpaid. And I'm kind of with you, Chris. I think anything over $8 million is done, and he's going to get 12. He's going to get 11, or he's going to get something stupid. He's the cream of the crop, unfortunately, in this shitty class, and he's going to get overpaid. And good for him. He deserves it. I don't think anybody should be like, fuck Alex Tuck when he leaves here. I don't think anybody should feel that way. He got paid. He was a good Sabre. Sucked the series against Montreal. I wish he did a little bit better, but yeah, good luck to you. Congrats on your money. I don't see there being any way that happens unless you find, if you found a Norris suitor. But then even that, when you find a Norris suitor, that's not going to be you get anything back. That's a please take his contract. So that's the only thing that I've said all along with Tuck. Is like, if you could find somebody to take Norris's contract, I just don't see anybody doing that. So I think we could close the deal on Alex Tuck, but Bri, you still think there's a little bit of hope there? I just hope they do something. I think he deserves, or he likes the organization enough that I do think he'll go to them in the next couple of days and say, hey, work something out with one of these 2, 3, 4 teams, or I'll have a sign and trade. I'll get the 8th year, and you get a 2nd round pick. Who was the guy that happened to and got a 3rd? Somebody last week. Anybody? Somebody just in the league, got back a 3rd for the same type of situation. Like, all right, give me a 2 back for.
All right. I don't know so I don't have much else to say about Tuck. I think he's a fine player. I don't want him back personally. I think that it's legitimate, these reports that they're circling back, but we'll see. On Byram, I think the mistake was not signing him to a longer term deal and bridging him. And I wanted him to be signed long-term, all that, because you could have probably gotten him for like 6.5, for longer.
Well, he's at 6.5 now, isn't he?
Yeah. And I
don't think you could have got him longer. I think it was 8.5 if you went longer. That's the reason why the bridge. Yeah, no, 100%. You wouldn't sign a bridge deal if you weren't trying. You take less to sign for less years.
Well, the reporting was that they were willing to pay him more, but they didn't want to pay him more on the term. They were willing to pay him more in the short term. That's the reporting I remember. It doesn't mean that because you sign him for 6.5, that if you go up 2 more years, you have to go to 8. That doesn't mean it in every situation. I don't think the value was that he was an $8 million defenseman when he was about to sign 2 years ago. I think the jury was still very much out on him. Colorado traded him for.
It was just last year. It was just last year. It wasn't 2 years ago. The bridge deal was last year. He signed a 2-year deal last year.
Oh,
Yeah,
next
he's
last
year,
off
though.
season.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I mean that listen, he's going to get 10. If you saw Radish's deal, he's better than Radish. And at the end of the day, I'm not saying this is not about both of these things. They're not about Alex Tuck or Bo Byram, the players. It's just it's organizational structure, and this isn't the NFL or the NBA or even baseball where you can pay over the luxury tax. It's just you have a hard cap, and you cannot pay your third best, and I arguably call him my fourth best defenseman, $10 million. You just can't do it. I like the player a lot. And I don't even see how an $8 million contract for your third or fourth best defenseman would work. And so this is where you have the best value. I think I think he is the core piece in a deal for a really good center. I think we might, like you said, I definitely believe Yarmo's cooking something. So this might even be a thing that can be huge. And when I say huge, I'm talking Byram, the first, Merca, one of the goalies, and get a goalie back, because I do think a goalie is coming back. In one of these deals, I think they're getting a goalie. I think it just let them down too much, and I think that they realize that. So if it's all being done in one deal, I don't know, but I could see a couple teams where that works for. Like, is Scheifele available in Winnipeg? And when they go get Hellebuyck, because now there's reports here just last couple hours that they're in on Hellebuyck. Let's go there. I'm just talking in circles here. Let's go with Hellebuyck. Thoughts on that idea? He's going to cost a lot. That's what I don't love. But Ryan, go ahead.
No, I'm a thumbs down on that idea. I don't like paying goalies. I don't like paying goalies who have not looked great in crunch time, other than the Olympic gold medal game, whatever.
which just was the biggest game ever in the history of the sport. But yeah, sure, go ahead.
All right. I'm just talking about in the NHL, it's traditionally that he doesn't do well in the playoffs. That's pretty well established, and that's what I was talking about. So, no, I don't like the idea for the money and for what you're going to have to give up to get him. And again, goalies to me are, yes, it's nice to have the established one, but the trades to go out and get them, unless it's for a young guy, why are you doing that? You're buying a late window Hellebuyck. I mean, listen, I don't think you want to, that's not the time you want to buy. I think you want to look for something else. Chris,
thoughts?
Not really in on the Hellebuyck's sweepstakes, kind of for the same reason. I think a lot of his late season crunch time failures aren't necessarily him. It's kind of the Winnipeg structure, and they lean on him heavily during the year, and they're not built for that kind of thing. I think he could be better on a better team, but I don't necessarily want this team to take that route. I think, especially football around here, every year when the Bills season ends, the fan base focuses on one thing that failed, and that's all they want to see fixed. And I think there was too much good about this hockey team to be worried about their shortcomings this year, when they're kind of in this 2-year stretch where they have to transition to what the team is about to become. And I think overpaying a vet goalie that's 2019 thinking. That's, we're bringing in Taylor Hall to be friends with Jack Eichel thinking. I'm not a fan.
I'm not the biggest fan for many of the reasons why you guys say. I think you both kind of made good points, and they helped each other. Is that, like Ryan says, you don't believe in paying the goalie, and I've always find that hard to argue, because I've always felt similarly, although I do think there are a few special guys that make sense. But to Chris's point, where he was like, and this helps reinforce yours, Ryan's like, I don't think it's all him when it comes to the playoffs. It's the team in front of him. Well, it's the team in front of him because they don't have money to pay, for a good team, because he's eating up 8.5. Now you get rid of UPL, and that's only $3 million more. And, now you're talking, he is signed for another 4 years, which is insane. but he's still young. I mean, he's still only what 30,
33.
Is he 33?
Yeah.
Is it? That's a little bit. Yeah. I mean, goalies play a little bit longer, but whatever. I don't love the idea. You know what I don't love the idea of it. I could get down with it a little bit more if he was a free agent for that money and he wanted that money for I could get down. I agree with you, Ryan. I think it's gonna be a significant cost, and to me that takes me out of it.
You mentioned earlier, someone like Helenas, and there's probably a list of no more than a half dozen guys that I would include in a trade for Helenas. I hope I'm not being crazy by saying that, but his numbers through, I know it's a very small sample, looked extremely good. Puck possession wise, driving play, creating scoring chances. I mean, the eye test too. I mean, could you say he literally was our best player in the last couple of games that he played? I think yes. So, if you're going to move him, you got to have a really good reason to do it. I don't think they're going to do that. I think he's about as good as untouchable at this point with that performance.
I don't ever want to hear anybody's untouchable, but I agree with you. I'm not going to argue about half.
Of course, there's a couple guys like if Celebrini were available or McDavid, of course, but that's not going to happen. I mean, McDavid might, but
McDavid's about to happen. McDavid's definitely happen. No, I agree. I mean, I don't want to move that guy. I just don't want to fit in this Buffalo mold of we can't trade these guys because there are guys to not get better, and we do that too much. We fall in love with guys, and then that happens, and then we don't want to move anybody, and then we don't. You got to move somebody to get somebody.
I think our problem is not that we fall in love too much. No, it's that we fall in love too much with our guys. We overvalue our guys. We have this inflated opinion of what they're worth. No. I mean, Östlund, I think he's a really nice piece. I think he's, someone, if you're looking, if you're a team that's looking at McLeod, I would probably rather have someone like Östlund who, is younger, isn't on that long contract. And, I think he's got, just about as good of an upside as a third, 3C. So I don't know. What do you think of that? Is Östlund being floated right now?
I think he is, but I think much higher than what you are saying, Chris. What your thoughts on Östlund? I think Östlund has a lot of value.
I mean, I like all these guys, but I feel like everybody is on the table in a sense, especially with the younger guys. I kind of agree with the McLeod point because he's not quite fully proven, and I think the upside is there. I think there's a little bit more value in an Östlund than a 3C, but I think on paper it's pretty similar for what you've seen out of him. I know, and we're gonna overweigh the playoff performances for everybody here because we got to watch them so closely. Yeah. I think the value Helenas had, especially after the World Championships, right after the playoffs, I think gives him a little more of return value than an Östlund does right now.
Yeah, I think he's 2.5 to 3 times the player that Östlund ever is or will be. That's the thing. No, I don't know if I think we're undervaluing what Helenas can be. And I think we're talking about this time next year, him being not a cornerstone piece, talking the cornerstone piece of this franchise is going to be that guy. He is going to be that good for the team, I think. He flashed so much in that short. He's got speed. He's got hands. He's on Team Sweden playing with Barkov, and he's just I
thought you didn't watch any hockey after the Sabres were eliminated, mister.
That was
you read tweets.
Not in the that was after the Sabres were eliminated.
No, he was playing while the Sabres were still playing. Yes, it was after the Worlds are out.
I thought it was before.
He's been caught in a lie.
Games. No, yes, it was after. We caught you red-handed, dude.
That's different. All right. I didn't watch a second of NHL hockey, and you can believe that.
You were watching Hellenia's highlight. You're too busy watching Hellenia's highlights. No, I'm not going to argue with you too much. I mean, I think you're overselling them a bit, but like I love them, and you could have quote unquote untouchables that become touchable if, like you said, you float this guy. I think Oslin, but I'm surprised to hear your Oslin compared to McLeod thing. Like I would almost give away McLeod right now to free up that money. I think Oslin's way no. He's going to be one of the guys that goes, and I think it's going to be for almost nothing.
No way.
Yeah, they need to free up that money. Oh, 100%. Chris, don't you agree? So. I mean, McLeod, I mean, I know you haven't been listening to the anything hockey related for the last few weeks, but he's very, very much talked about as one of the guys on the outs to free up money.
Listen, can we stop expanding what I've said here? I said I didn't watch a second of the NHL playoffs, and then you're like, "Oh, you lived under a rock for the last 4 weeks."
Well, he is. I mean, he's very much speculated to be one of the guys on the outs to free up money. And he had a horrible playoff. He had a whole down year. His year was not great. And I'll stick up for him in the sense of like he doesn't always need to show up on the score sheet to provide his worth. He's a great. Full ice player, but he did not have a great year this year, and he really, really struggled in the playoffs. And I mean, to the point, Lindy doesn't call people out, especially veterans. I mean, for Lindy to call them out during the playoffs, that was pretty alarming to me.
Yeah, well, you were willing to trade Quinn, Oslin, and First for Brian Rust.
I'll never hear the end of that. Chris, any thoughts on contracts out? I think Greenway is going to be a guy that you would have to give away a pick with him.
That's my number one clearinghouse. I don't care what it is.
But that's not happening. That's not happening like, hey, give us a 7th rounder and you could have him. That is Greenway and a 4th for a 7th.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, you got to get him off your roster.
If they eat that whole salary, I'm down with it.
Somebody will. Somebody's gonna like the Sharks or something. I don't know how much cap space they have.
Oh, you know what? That is a solid point, Chris. You could, I mean, they could eat maybe $1 million of it or something and get something back, but that kind of defeats the purpose.
And I also don't think that Pegula has shown that he's been willing to do that lately, has he? As far as the eating of the contract money?
I think that they'll do whatever. Well, it doesn't matter because he's going to spend to the cap anyways, and that money counts towards the cap no matter what. Whether you keep, if you keep that money, it's just less money you could spend on other players. So and it's not like Pegula's not going to spend to the cap. Yeah. So no, I don't know if that was Kevin Adams' way of movement, but I think Jarmo. The whole thing is the fun part about this is Jarmo's. We're all on the same page. It's like he's making something happen here over the next week, and trying to figure out what it is entertaining to say the least. But I think Greenway's gone, but again, I don't know what that looks like. You are right, Ryan. Like there's teams that just aren't even close to the floor that just might want to take him to get to the floor and whatever. But McLeod's another guy I really think. With that contract, you got to free up something. Even with the Byram trade that only frees up 6.5, you're probably bringing in a guy that's making more. If it's Larkin, if it's Hershire, if it's Thomas, whatever. So you still have to free up that, and this will go into our next, I guess, thing is this will especially have to happen if the rumored Benson 7 for $49 million happens. Thoughts on that? Rumor. It seems like it might be at the finish line, Chris.
I think it's probably going to be pretty good for most of that 7 years of the contract. I know he's been on the team for 3 goddamn years already.
Yeah, but it'll be 28 at the end of it. It's not like
I know.
I'm not worried about age. I'm not worried about age.
No,
I'm just worried about is he getting paid for a good playoff? I mean, we would have laughed 3 months ago at thinking about him as a $7 million.
Because if you look, I mean, honestly, he was kind of pushing into that $5.5 million, pre-playoffs projection wise. If you look at his and I always say how much I hate analytics on here, but like his expected goals 5-on-5 for the people he entered the league with, he's far and away number one in that fairly heavy draft pool. His underlying stuff is always way up, even if his score sheet stuff struggled a little bit this year. And he had a slow start scoring in the league too. But I think when we get into that, when he's 25, 26, 27, it's probably going to look like a pretty sweet deal. It's going to suck if they want to keep him after that. But I think 7-7 for what he's doing, I think that's worth it.
Louis and I debated on this very podcast a few months back, his offensive upside. I was, in the camp that he has the Marchand upside, and I think Louis was pushing back on whether you could see him being a 30 goal scorer. And I absolutely see that in the range of outcomes. I feel like he could do that as soon as next year. He's going to be given that opportunity. He doesn't have to be a top 6 player to do that because of the way that he uses 3 full lines. Really, he's been Lindy, at least this year, I feel like he used most of the 3 lines. And if Tuck is gone, there's going to be another opening on the wing in the top 6. So yeah, I'm big into Benson. I feel like he's the easiest contract decision you have this offseason. Just sign him for as long as he's willing to stay here, for as small of a number as you have to pay him. But I would be not even flinching or batting an eye at 7x7 or 8x7.
And I really don't want to either, like, especially with what that deal will look like in 3 or 4 years. I still kind of stay true a little bit to my argument that I just don't think he'll be a 30-goal scorer. But at the end of the day, he does so many things that you can't replace, that money is worth, there's intangible money. The reason why I've been so get rid of Quinn and all these deals and not think he has much value, to be perfectly honest, I think we'd be shocked at what the Quinn return would be in a one deal. I think most people would be like, what? That's it? You could replace goals very easily in this league. One thing you cannot replace are intangibles like Benson has. So like I totally agree as far as the number being really reasonable. I get a little bit scared that it'll, might be just for the playoff run, but I don't think anyone's going to complain in 3 years like this dude sucks. He's the heart of the team. He's going to always play. I'm worried about durability issues for sure. I mean, we saw it this year, right? Like, is he going to be able to stay on the ice at his size and the way he plays? He plays like a pit bull. He's built like a chihuahua. So, that's the only thing that scares me a little bit about that. But let's go with dream players here. Dream, the one, not McDavid, Ryan. Okay, you could say McDavid if you want. Go ahead, whatever you want. But realistic dream guys here that, the rumors that we've been hearing over the last, few weeks of guys that might be the number one center that they'd go after in a deal that would probably include Byram. Thoughts on who you'd like the most, Chris?
I am not prepared for this.
No. All right.
I mean, the rumor mill, we're in the prime time of like rumor mill getting crazy. Honestly, everybody really got when Dylan Larkin said he wanted out of Detroit. I'm going to tell you one I don't want. Everybody got really excited for that. And I'm not into that. I don't think he's a huge upgrade over anybody that we have necessarily.
Oh, I think that's crazy. 5 30-goal years.
I don't think a huge upgrade.
Yeah, he'd instantly be number one center. He puts, he has Tuck-like numbers, but at a position that you need more, and it's going to come in at like he's signed for 8.5 for I think 3 or 4 more seasons, so it will come in about $3 million less than Tuck at a position that you need more. I'm totally okay with whatever that looks like.
Yeah, I'm with Chris on this one. I feel like he's basically just Alex Tuck with a more punchable face, and he plays center instead of wing. I'm not a fan of it. I don't think, like Chris said, he's enough of an upgrade for me to want to put together the package that's going to be necessary to pull him here. I'd look elsewhere. So my answer to your question. So this is both realistic in terms of who we would be moving out and who has been reportedly interested in acquiring this player. So some of the early reporting has been linking Byram to the Flyers. All right. Now, I know it would cost more than just Byram to get this player out of there. But do you know who I would suggest? It's Porter Martone, baby. He is another young. What are you shaking your head? Do you think it's unrealistic?
I love it. No, I love it.
Okay. So it's he's he's 19, 20 years old. He just I think he had an awesome playoffs for the Flyers. And if you're looking to not just like put a Band-Aid and throw a huge number at someone like Alex Tuck to play the wing for you for the next 8 years, but would rather get someone that could play for the next 8 years and actually deliver for every single year on that contract. And for the first two would get to play for $1 million for you. I mean, I know, again, you have to pay something else, but maybe you throw that 20th pick in. And Philly is still, they need pieces. They need defensemen. Drysdale and Sanheim, I mean, that's not enough. They need a number one guy. If he's willing to play there and you can get that piece, I mean, that is the number one piece in Philly that I would want to get. And I mean, he's really high on my list. So if that's even possible, I don't know if it is, but that's my answer other than McDavid, if you don't.
I think McDavid is more possible than Porter Martone. The Flyers are young. I don't think that you want to talk about untouchables. That guy's an untouchable, and I think 5 Byrams would not be enough to get him out of there. Plus, this team's not going after a wing.
Why?
Because they're not. They're going at this team is trading for a number one center. They are not going after a wing.
Name their top 6 wingers right now.
It's Thompson.
Not playing center?
What's that?
Thompson's not playing center?
No, he's probably going to the wing. They
even when he was almost dying on the ice, they almost refused to move him to the wing.
This is absolutely not like debatable. It's literally what every single person's talking about. They need a number one center, and they're going to be trading for a number one center.
I'm not talking about what people are talking about. I'm asking
but it's just questions.
You're not answering my question.
Yeah, what are you saying?
My point is, what did they do in real life?
They are moving Tage to the wing. They are 100% moving Tage to the wing because they've thought that that's where he works better. I'm telling you, everything is. Everybody is saying that they need a number one center. It's going to be.
I don't care what everyone says. Okay. What have they shown you that what they think about Tage is they thought that until his dying moment when he was like, oh my God, he really cannot hang out here. We have to move him to wing. They refused to move him to wing even when he was playing like shit.
Their whole idea in the beginning of the year was Coolidge at center and him at the wing.
I'm not talking about October, Louis. Okay. We're talking about March and May. April's in the middle.
I'll bet you $1 million if there's a trade, they do not trade for a wing. It will 100% be for down the middle. It's going to be
Porter Martone, and then I'm going to just read your fucking text messages.
They need to go somebody down the middle. It will be somebody down the middle. I don't agree with Kristen and make a pick. You picked a winger. I'll tell you who. I mean, the realistic, the guys that are literally being shopped, obviously, are Larkin. I do think the Rob Thomas thing isn't as dead as they're saying it is. I think that's just not. And honestly, the one guy that like really hasn't been talked about in rumors, but it makes it sense for the team and for the Sabres because of the connection to Lindy Ruff, Nico Hershiser would be really, really exciting. I don't know what that price looks like, but he's played for Lindy. He's one of the best players in the league. He's a top 20 player in the league. He's a top 20 player in the league. Brian, like, what are you talking about? Have you ever watched it? Forget the last 20. Forget the last month and a half. Have you
just
watched hockey at all?
Just let me just let Chris get a word in. Chris, do you agree that he's a top 20 player in the league?
No, but also I just want to say, one, I can't wait until we have to go to court to settle this $1 million dispute when Tage is taking the opening night face-off, and all you get out of him after meeting with the arbitrator is a valid dad hat. Secondly, I
No,
don't think
just-
Nico Heischer. I can't wait for you to pronounce draft picks names.
Yeah, it's
Top
gonna
20
be
guy in the league. You mispronounced his name 3 times.
talking about. I'm going to go full circle because this is a game that I wanted to do with you guys earlier. So like I was fighting with somebody about the Tuck situation earlier, and they were like, I bet there's so many guys in the top 35 or that are 35 or older that are still scoring 25 goals or more. There were 7 this past year. Guys 35 or older that scored at least 25 goals.
I cannot. I'm sorry, I was not listening because I'm just ready to fight about this Nico Heischer. Laughably, in your opinion, like to someone doubting him being in the top 20, asking if I ever watch hockey. That guy has 2 30-goal seasons in his career. You talk about whether
he's also a Selke Trophy finalist every year.
Oh, okay. Well, that changes everything about
it.
Whether
Should change everything.
It definitely does not.
It should change everything. If you only want goals, cool. I mean, that's fun, but that's why
if you care about traditional metrics of being good, no, this guy is not your guy.
The guy is the guy. He does only have one more year, which okay, perfect. Byram for Hershire, straight up. I said his name wrong again. Chris is gonna sorry. Go back to the question. Yeah, I'm gonna ask you it again because Ryan wasn't paying attention. Chris is thinking hard on it, I think. Guys over the age of 35 or older that scored at least 25 goals this past season. There's 7 of them. Go. We won't go back and forth. What's that?
Sidney Crosby.
Crosby was 4th on that list with 29.
But did Ovi get to 25 this year?
Ovi got 32, second on that list.
Brian Rust.
he got to 25, but he was only he's only 33 or 34. I think he's 34. That's good. I wanted him to be on this list so bad. Trust me. I almost was like 34 and over.
The fact that he had 25 goals, just whatever. It's a win in my book.
There's one former Sabre at the bottom of this list.
Taylor Hall.
Former Sabre.
Nope.
Oh.
How many goals did he have this year, though? That's what I want to know.
That's who I would have gone with.
The number 1 guy on this list was maybe the biggest miss on July 1st. Everybody thought we were going to go after this guy, and he went somewhere else. Or maybe signed with his own team. Playing in down south these days.
Yeah.
He's always been playing down south, actually. He's now in Nashville. His name is
Ryan O'Reilly. Ryan O'Reilly.
Well, that was the former Sabre, yes, but there's another one at the top of the list as well.
Stamkos.
Stamkos is on the top of the list.
Jesus.
42. Speaking of someone making fun of Ryan for not watching hockey this year, Steven Stamkos scored 42 goals this year. I saw that. I was like, what?
In Nashville.
How was that even happening that dude's still scoring 40 goals? There's a Stamkos equivalent, I think is the best way to call him. 3rd on this list.
Is it one of the Tampa guys?
No. Toronto.
Tavares?
Yep. 31. And then 2 more guys on the list. One won the Stanley Cup a year ago and helped win a Stanley Cup a year ago after a big trade. And then Marchand at 27. And then the last guy, I'm just going to give it. I think it would take you forever. Jordan Eberle with 26. But the reason why I do that list is that it does go to show that, I mean, those are some of the best players in the game at 35. And Chuck would be 35 in what? 3 years on that or 4 years on that thing. Like he'd be playing the last half of that contract over that age, and it just is such a big decrease in production. So I don't need that. Man, if you guys have fought against the goalie ideas that I have presented, are you saying that you're ready to come back with UPL and Lyon? Is that where your thoughts are?
No, definitely not. I mean, would I be the most upset? No. I mean, because it's not going and expending a number of resources at a position I don't want you to spend. But I think there's other reasonable alternatives out there. I mean, there are guys who are, you know, I don't have names for you, right? But it's the guys like, you know, that are up and coming that haven't, you know, like Dustin Wolf or you know, Logan Cooley.
Yeah, like a trade like that, you're saying.
Yeah,
but
like,
that's going to take a lot too. That's not going to be cheap.
Yeah. But I want something that's, I guess my point is for all of the moves that I want to do, I don't want just like a stopgap solution. Like I think you're better off trying to go identify that solution that might be a longer term thing. If you're going to pay Hellebuck right now, I don't think that's good, you know, resource allocation. And I also feel like you're, you know, paying for past performance as opposed to what you're getting in the future. And that's just the worst thing you can do in a contract. So same thing with Tuck. That's the same premise of why you let him walk. So Chris, I mean, do you have a better idea than just the same trio, if you even want to call it a trio? You know, Levi being in there, is he totally gone? I don't know.
Colton Ellis starting 82 games.
Oh,
I don't think it has to be married one to the other. They go and sign a 2-year, $9.5 million deal for Bobrovsky, or we keep the 3 lunatics that we have. I could see them moving 2 of them in things going on and trying to either decide who they think is the most reliable and try to pick up maybe one of those second tier, soon to be journeyman backups. But I don't have I don't have. You told us that you were going to read prospects' names, and you told us to come up with fun ideas for upgrades to the team.
I know.
We're talking about.
Minutes. I know. Well, let's do that. Let's do fun ideas that the Sabres organization can add outside of the roster. So let's say, Chris, I know you probably have some ideas, seeing that you said that, ideas to increase the just organizational value.
Well, now I just came up with one that when you walk in the arena, there's an interactive menu with all of the WHL goalies so that we can find out who's going to be backup on this team in 5 months. Number one upgrade for this team. Okay. It was a sensation last year, the beer saber. But now what we need is an oversized beer saber filled with milk for Sabretooth. So he can chug with the kids and teach them that calcium helps build strong bones.
One, that's awesome. And 2, it will make me feel better about my chug attempt because I'm sure he will get the milk all over him. And that
suit is going to stink by game 3.
Oh, yeah. For sure. Game 3, it's just soiled milk. Ryan, any other Chris, you may have had another one. I won't alternate. You got another one?
Oh.
You said number one, so I figured you were listing. I felt like you were listing. I thought you had a list there.
No.
Okay. Rye, you have any ideas of what any additions that the Sabres can make during the offseason, then not roster moves?
Yeah. All right. It's an overhaul of the intermission entertainment program. So let's go add in corgi dogs. I mean, that's easy. Like, got to be at least like, what is it, 41 home games? It's got to be at least 20 home games, corgi dogs. And then
like corgi dogs on skates, or just
no, dude, that would be insane. There's no way.
So insane. Can we get them with skates, please?
if any of them could possibly have the joint and is it joint strength or
Dude,
I don't even know.
watching
Like,
corgi dogs on skates. I just want it more than anything.
I'm fine, like even just having them run on the ice, that would be challenging enough. But like, they're really good at catching frisbees and stuff. I mean, I don't know, like it's big to me.
This is the best idea I've ever heard, to be honest.
So
that's way better than your stupid Porter Martone fucking idea. I'll tell you that.
I swear.
How many corgis would we have to trade to get Porter Martone?
Well, we got to build the show first. We got to build the show before we do it.
It definitely would cost more than trading for Nico Hischier, who, according to NHL.com, in September of 2025 was the 40th best player in the NHL. So top 20.
He's only gotten better since then.
The best.
Oh yeah, everyone was talking about what a great year Nico Hischier had in the Devils. Yeah, it was.
They should have.
Really, he's all the intangibles in the game really helped them propel them to success. So, anyways, no, just corgi dogs. Really, that's my only.
I love it. I love it. My number one addition that the Sabres can make during the offseason is probably obvious, and we all know it. We all miss her. We all love her. Just bring back Black Betty, please. Just bring Black Rock Betty. We all need her. I do specifically, but just bring her back.
Spent a lot of money on playoff tickets.
Justice for Black Rock Betty. Bring her back and bring her with the corgi dogs. Black Rock Betty riding a corgi dog. Let's go. Let's get on the ice. Ryan, Jesus, dude. What's up with the weird look? Like you're
do you know the dynamics of a corgi dog? They have the smallest legs. Like I don't think anyone could physically sit on top of it. And why am I? It's funny. I noticed myself doing this. I'm calling them corgi dogs. Like I could just say corgis. Like everyone knows they're dogs. Like calling them by their official name, like their genus and their phylum name or whatever that's called.
That's really funny. Also, I don't think you've ever seen Black Rock Betty. Very skinny, very small. Think she could fit on a court.
No, that's not the point at all. And I did meet her. We did. Remember the one game, the Sabres game?
Okay, well then I don't think you're giving her credit enough that I think she can ride.
I'm saying the dogs are very small. I don't think anyone could fit.
What if she?
My daughters would have a hard time.
What if she grabbed like reins, like a reindeer, and she had the skates on, and then the corgi dogs, like her. Trying to walk on the ice, and she's just sitting there on ice skis, just not moving. I'm sorry so much. I've ruined everything. Chris, when we meet here next, maybe we should do 2 weeks because that would be right after the first. No, you know what we will do? Let's agree now we'll do a show right after the first, maybe before that Monday, to go over what hopefully it would be a big deal. But when we sit here on the second, hopefully, and talk, who's our top goalie? Is Alex Tuck signed with anybody? And have they
Are you
made
trying to end this on a cliffhanger?
Yep. No. I want you to answer quickly. Answer quickly. I got an open mic to go to. Tuck
goalie.
Yeah.
Is the bid is to say Colton Ellis, but the goalie's probably still UPL. Alex Tuck, I hope, is gone. He's gone. He's going to be spread all over Frontiers football field with my dad in that hat. I told you he's gone. We've signed nobody, and we're all very mad about it.
No big trades?
I don't know.
Okay. Brian, you're 3.
Top goalie we have is no, it's going to be just status quo at goalie. I'm going to say the Tuck is going to have signed with the San Jose Sharks for a shit ton of money. And then I'm going to say, what was the last one?
Trade.
Will there be a big trade by then?
Yeah, it's going to be Byram for Porter Martone. I don't know. It's definitely going to be Byram. I don't know if Porter Martone's going to be in the return, but I do think he's getting shipped. And I don't think I mentioned this earlier. I do think that's the right move now, given the fact that the reporting is pretty consistent that he's not going to re-sign here. And if that's the case, as much as I do want to sign him, I personally would be okay just signing him and figuring out the rest later with an extent, a cap that's going up, just saying we have the 4 best defensemen in the NHL, deal with it, try to beat us. And we'll make it work with young guys elsewhere like Porter Martone. But I don't know. Yeah, that's
I think Byram's gone by our next episode. I think Tuck is on Seattle for something stupid over 11 million. I think the goalie thing is going to surprise us. I don't know how quick it's going to happen. So I'll still say UPL by our next episode, but I don't know why I get a sense that they're going to make a somewhat big move there. And I don't know how I feel about it. We'll have to see what it is before I could even. I like the Dustin Wolf idea, Ren. If we could
go get Askarov. Could we get Askarov?
Sure.
After a mediocre year in San Jose,
sure, anything. Yeah, I'm in for something like that. Anything but these 2 guys. I don't want this rotation again. I'm ready for Colton Ellis. 82 games. It was obvious that we have way too much to talk about, and we took too long of a break. So we'll be back at least right after the first, maybe next Monday. Stay tuned to see when we will be back talking more Sabres off season. There's going to be a lot happening here over the next 10 days. Can't wait to talk about it. For Chris Plumer, Ryan Mura, I'm Louis G. Have a great night.